Hi, I'm Lynn Mateva and this is Living Healthy on the Go. We are going to talk about making food fun. That's my favorite thing to do because we need to be healthy, we need to be happy, and things need to taste good if we're going to keep eating them and be that way. So stay tuned. Living Healthy on the Go coming up next on Pack 14. One of my favorite things to do for health and weight management is to make smoothies. There's a couple reasons for this. One is that most of us aren't getting the right amount of vegetables every day. They tell us to strive for 5, but really the World Health Organization recommends 8 to 10 servings a day, and Americans are getting nowhere near that amount. The other reason is because it's really great for weight management to get as many fruits and vegetables in our bodies as possible, not just for the nutrient value, but because we get filled up on the good stuff. I've maintained a 90-pound weight loss for going on 5 years now, and I lost the weight and I continue to keep it off by eating lots of fresh fruits and vegetables and just making things taste great and keeping food simple and fun. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So one of my favorite snacks to make is a chocolate cherry smoothie. And I've just bought some frozen cherries from the grocery store. They are no sugar added, and I'm going to dump them here into a blender. And I'm not measuring them, but there's probably a little over a cup in there. Because when you're eating fruits and vegetables, it's not as important to worry about measuring them so much as it is to make sure you're getting them in the way you might want to measure meat or some foods that have less nutrients in there for the density of calories, excuse me. Okay, so now I'm adding some spinach in here. And I know that sounds crazy to put spinach in with a smoothie. You will not notice it, and it's so good. So what we're making again is a cherry chocolate smoothie. I've got just plain old unsweetened cocoa powder. Your regular old variety that you would use for baking a cake. This stuff is full of antioxidants and they've removed all of the fats from it for making the cocoa butter part. So this is just high power nutrients. It's full of iron, it's full of fiber. It's really good stuff. And I'm just going to dump a bunch in there. I put about 1/4 cup in there. It is really, really nutrient dense and it's going to make this taste so rich and so good for you. It's just so good for you. And then I'm adding some water in. And you could add any liquid you wanted. You could add milk, you could add almond milk, you could add soy milk, rice milk, any of those things. You could add a little bit of yogurt. I've got some local yogurt here. I'm going to pour just a little bit of that in just to add a little bit of creaminess. But you don't have to add those. You can make it just with water and that's fine. And then the last thing I'm adding in there for a little bit of nutrient boost, a little protein boost, is some chia seeds. And they are from the plant that is used for those little critters that you spread on the chia and you sprout them and they grow grass in your kitchen. But they're also full of all kinds of great nutrients. It's an ancient seed and they have lots of iron, lots of calcium, lots of fiber. And anytime you're eating the seed of the plant, the bean, the nut, those things, they just carry a whole lot of energy in them for a small amount. So they are high in calories, they are high in fat, but it's all good stuff your body can use. It's going to keep you full throughout the day. And the one thing I did forget to add, I'm adding a little bit of coconut sugar. You could add unsweetened honey. You could add, or not unsweetened honey, local honey. You could raw honey. You could add maple syrup. You could add even just a little brown sugar, not the turbinado sugar, the raw sugar. I'm not a big fan of artificial sweeteners, so I try to keep them out of the kitchen and out of my meals. So now we're just going to turn this on. Okay, so just like that, nothing fancy, but I have this delicious chocolatey beverage that's made with all these fruits and vegetables. Notice you can't see the spinach in there. And this is so good. I would have this for breakfast. I would have this in place of lunch once in a while. But this is even good to have in the evening when you're looking for something sweet and you're just kind of wondering, looking through the pantry, looking through the refrigerator for something. It'll help with that sweet tooth too. And it's so full of fruits and vegetables. The nutritional value of this is really, really high. Very high in fiber. It's got a whole lot of calcium. It's got a whole lot of iron. The spinach and all of that really adds a whole bunch of nutrient punch for you. So now we're going to talk about making, speaking of nutritional punches, some other smoothies you can make if chocolate's not your thing. There's so many flavors we can make. I'm just going to go wash out my blender and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this one is make a blueberry smoothie. And you don't have to use blueberries. If you don't like blueberries or cherries or what have you, you can use whatever fruit you want. This one in our house, we tease that this is a purple monster smoothie. And I started making this one first. I just threw in some bananas, some frozen bananas, a great thing to do with old bananas that are overripe. Throw them in the freezer, throw them in your smoothie when you're ready to make a smoothie. And they add a lot of sweetness without adding sugar. But I started making this smoothie back when I was trying to find a way to get more vegetables in my kids. So again, we're going to throw the spinach in there, and the blueberries I found completely hid that there was any sort of vegetable in there beyond fruit. So everybody was happy. I am going to add another pinch of this coconut sugar in there. And I don't know if I mentioned it before when I brought it up, but basically coconut sugar is made from the palm of the plant. It's a palm sugar. So it's kind of made the same way maple syrup would be made, dried out and dehydrated. What I love about coconut sugar is it only has 4 carbohydrates for a teaspoon, and it's an all-natural food product. It doesn't have any added corn sugars or oses, those weird things on the label that you don't quite know what they are when you read the ingredients. It just came from the plant with no other additives, and it's got a very low glycemic index, so it's great just to eat and not worry about having a whole lot of insulin spike when you're eating it, in moderation, of course. So again, I'm going to add water, and you could add whatever liquid you'd like. A great one to add in this would be coconut water or anything like that. It would give a nice tropical flavor to it. Pineapple juice, you could add juices into smoothies. I'm throwing some more of this yogurt in. This is just a little bit of a local yogurt that I picked up at our farm market here. It's a very thin product, more like a kefir, if you've ever heard of kefir, but it's unsweetened. It's just plain vanilla yogurt or plain white yogurt. You could use either, but there's no sugar, no sweeteners added. I'm not a big fan of yogurt that comes already sweetened. It either has artificial sweeteners or it comes with more sugar in it than a bowl of Lucky Charms. Really, that's kind of a scary statistic, I think. And again, you could add the chia seeds. Just for something different in this one, I'm adding hemp seeds. Again, it's just something that's really packed full of nutrients. Both chia and hemp are very high in the omega-3 fatty acids, which they tell us we should be getting more of. Sometimes they tell us we should get them in salmon and fish and things like that. A lot of people don't eat fish, so this is another way you can get those in without having to eat seafood. And again, it's just a great vegetarian, vegan source of protein, of fiber, and all sorts of antioxidants and micronutrients. So again, we're gonna, oh, I forgot one thing. Instead of chocolate this time, I wanted to add some cinnamon. You don't have to buy your cinnamon in a giant container like I do. But cinnamon is a great anti-inflammatory food, and it just tastes great when you're making with blueberries and bananas and things like that. You could play around with all kinds of spices and seasonings in these, though. So we're going to turn it on. And just like that, we have a purple monster smoothie. Again, you can't see any little bits of spinach in there or anything. And I'm telling you, little kids love this. They love the chocolate one too, but they always love this one because it's purple and I call it Monster. This one's really sweet. I probably did not even need to add the coconut sugar because the bananas were very ripe that I threw in here. It's delicious though. And you know, again, you don't need to use things that I've used here today. You can swap out different fruits. If you see mangoes or anything frozen in those bags that you find at the grocery store, those are always great. If you see fresh things ripe that you want to buy, overripe fruit is great to throw into smoothies because it makes it just so sweet naturally. But just play around with different flavors and different, you know, tastes and different fruits. And all of these things I've shown you here today, I did purchase locally here on Delmarva, either at local specialty stores or at just a regular grocery store. So I encourage you to get out your blenders and try getting in a little extra nutritional punch and have fun with it. Just play around and just see what kind of flavors you and your family like, and live healthy, Delmarva. For more information on healthy living, go to wycomicohealth.org and livehealthywycomico.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/wycomicohealth.